Today's episode of Armchair Ninja Podcast is brought to you by Atomic Climbing Holds. You've seen Atomic's work in some of the most iconic obstacles on American Ninja Warrior, including Cannonball Alley, Area 51's UFOs, and Stage 3's infamous hang climb.
You're listening to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Here is your host, Rich.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Thursday, December 31st, 2015, the last day of 2015. I'm here with my co-host, Bijan, yet again this week. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Rich. How are you?
Doing awesome. Had a good Christmas. Everything's going great. How was your Christmas?
Man, it was great. I got a Fitbit. I'm happy. I'm hyped. I hope everybody has a great New Year's right now. And drink responsibly, everyone.
Exactly, yeah. So definitely be safe. We've got 3 weeks left. You don't want to be in the hospital when Team Ninja Warrior is on.
Yeah, nobody wants to watch it from a hospital bed, man.
Yeah, terrible televisions in there. All right, so this week we are back. We're going to be talking about the Team Ninja Warrior teams again. So we're going to be running through 4 more teams. And then we'll come back for our video of the week and fan of the week and a special bonus video of the week, I guess you could call it, which will be a surprise for everyone.
And what a bonus it is.
So we got 4 teams, as I said. And for those that are just joining us for the first time, we're running through the teams for Team Ninja Warrior. We're going to introduce the teams week after week. We've gone through, how many have we gone through now? 12, I believe.
Yeah, 12.
With 12 left to go. And that'll work out perfectly. So we have 3 more episodes. We'll get through the other 12 teams just in time for everyone to be up to speed. So team number 1, we have... I actually have 2 names for them for some reason. We've got the Golden Dream Team, also known as the Golden Hearts, depending on where you look for information. I don't know why we keep getting 2 names for some of these teams. We've got the official one, and I think an unofficial one, maybe that they tweeted out. Or
either way, it's corny. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got Crazy Craver on the team. What are you going to do, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
So we've got Grant McCartney, Neil Craver, and Natalie Duran. So what did you think of this team, Bijan?
You know, it looks like a pretty cool team. Grant McCartney, for people that don't remember, he's the guy that kind of looks like Chris Pratt, or at least in my opinion, he kind of looks like Chris Pratt. Kind of has that vibe to him and personality as well. And he's a huge, huge dude. I mean, geez, this guy, like, I don't know. Do you know how tall he is? He must be like over 6'2", right?
He's got to be. Yeah, he looks really tall.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, his father was like played football or something, some kind of sport. I mean, he definitely has athleticism in his genes, and it really shows. This guy is just a beast in terms of like pure natural strength, I guess you could say. We'll see how it translates towards this particular course, but yeah, that's definitely a guy to stand out for. If anything else, just his personality. He seems like a really cool guy to have a beer with. As for Neil Craver, for a second there, I was like, what's the guy's last name again? Neil Craver, yeah. This guy actually really impressed me when he was on American Ninja Warrior this past season, and I really didn't expect much from him, but man, did he surprise me. He was the guy with the golden shorts and all the golden stuff all over his body, and he really impressed me during the Orlando finals. What did you think of these particular 2 guys before we get into the girl?
Sure. So Grant was, like you said, he had like an infectious personality. He was really, really likable, had a great story. Well, not a great story. He had actually kind of a tragic story in some ways, but he had a great rookie year. One thing I do remember about him, though, is that he talked about his nerves getting to him in stage 2 in Vegas, that, you know, that he hadn't considered the fact the crowd, the pressure that would have on him, and that he thought that had something to do with him going out. So I wonder if that'll be a factor for him in Team Ninja Warrior, with, you know, because it is, from all reports anyway, a very crowd-driven, very excitable atmosphere, I guess. So Grant is definitely a strong competitor, but he is a bigger guy too, right? He isn't as lean as a lot of the other competitors, so he could get taxed on some of the obstacles if he's trying to go too fast.
Yeah, he actually on his Venice finals, he actually was kind of slow, a little monotonous in his approach to the obstacles. So that's a very good point.
Yeah, and Neil Craver, it's his second year. He made it the second stage of Vegas, so that's two very strong performances from these guys this year. And yeah, he was really impressive. Like you said, it seemed kind of gimmicky. His video was interesting and everything, but it almost seemed like a gimmick. But he was definitely no joke. He did really, really well.
Yeah, does Craver? He kind of reminds me of Captain NBC, where the first few times you see him, you're like, oh, this guy's a joke, kind of a gimmick and everything. But the gimmick kind of undersells just in terms just the talent that he actually has. Because I don't know, from just viewing him, I didn't really expect much, but he really impressed me with his talents on top of just the gimmicky showmanship, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and I seem to recall he had a pretty good time, too. He held his own for speed, too.
Yeah, he sure did. I'm looking at it right now. It's about 7 minutes, but for the people that don't remember, the Orlando finals were brutal. He failed just at the very end with the invisible ladder, which, I mean, if I remember correctly, maybe one or two people completed that in the Orlando finals. So it's a testament to just how impressive this guy was.
Yeah, good company, because I'm pretty sure the Orlando finals would have been the invisible ladder, but one where Flip Rodriguez went out too. So that brings us to the third competitor, Natalie Duran. Now, Natalie is an extremely strong climber. We have seen her on the show in season 5, or she competed in season 5, I should say. There's lots of video of her in lots of competitions. There's, especially on her Facebook profile, has all kinds of neat ones to watch. The best one had to be, I really like this video that she had gone to a carnival, and they had like this little competition with a climbing wall, and you had to climb up the wall. You paid $5 to try to win 100 if you could climb the wall. And here she was in a dress and flip-flops, and totally destroyed it.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, she's actually quite a big online presence. She's kind of a star on YouTube and a lot of various other social media outlets. And one thing I really appreciate from her is that she doesn't come off like she's just this beautiful woman that's there just to show off. Oh, look at me. I'm fit in like a pretty way. No, she's like a real high level athlete. And I'm really interested to see how well she does on this course. She's very much a wild card in my opinion, just because she's I haven't seen enough of her in terms of these particular obstacles, but from the things I've seen, man, she's really impressive, and I really hope she does well, because she has very much potential to be a huge star.
Yeah, totally agree. So after the Golden Dream Team, we had the Karsonic Boom. These names are great.
Oh my God, man.
So we had Carson Voiles, Brandon Barrett, and Beth Higginbotham. Man, I cannot pronounce names. Let me try that again. It's Beth Higginbotham.
I was not about it. I was just going to enjoy the hole you were digging, man.
I heard her say it. I made a point of listening to her say her own name so that I could get it right, and then I still managed to screw it up. Okay, so Carson is a veteran. In season 6, he made it to stage 1 to the Jumping Spider, and this season he made it to Roulette Row, which took out a lot of competitors. That's stage 2. So Carson's pretty great. Brandon Barrett, we were trying to find some interesting stuff on him, and actually found a little dance video of him on Twitter that Ninja, at Ninja Warrior, the official Ninja Warrior Twitter account, sent out of him just dancing around. Unfortunately, that's the only video we were able to find. on hand. But we took a look at the times, and it's really interesting to note. So he failed on the body prop in the city finals, the same one that took out a lot of the big names. And when you look at his time, he actually did better. He got there faster than Lauren Ball, Paul Casimir, Brian Arnold, and Dan Yeager. And he's actually only 12 seconds behind Isaac Caldero. That's some pretty hefty company to be keeping. Like, he is fast.
Yeah, those are some elite names, man. So that definitely on paper sounds really good for this team. It sounds like this guy, in the very least, is very fast and will attack these particular obstacles with a lot of speed.
And then we had Beth. So Beth actually was on season 5 and 6 of American Ninja Warrior, and was this year she didn't make it onto the show. She was actually a course tester in Venice and Vegas. So she was testing, and you can see some video of her testing out the course. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, she's got really good balance. From the videos she has online, you can definitely tell she's very good and aware of her core and her body in terms of positioning. So any balance obstacles, I think she's really going to do well on those. And Carson Foils, I believe is his name. That guy also, just like the other guy on the team, I forget his name. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. He's very fast. So while this team is a little bit lesser known in terms of all the big names, this team has the potential of doing fairly well in terms of speed. They both are well suited for a lot of these upper body grip obstacles that last week we went over, that the course seems to have a lot of. And I think they can do pretty dang well.
Yeah, actually, that was the thing that struck me most this week, I think, was some of the names that I looked at. In particular, this team seems a lot stronger than I would have thought. I was a little worried about, being an unbalanced team with some of the other names that we see there, but not at all. This actually seems like a very strong team that could make a name for themselves.
Yeah, I think they're really going to surprise people. I think a lot of people are going to see them, be like, oh, who are these people? I've never heard of them. Or like, oh, they faintly sound familiar. And then they're really I think they're going to turn it on and really turn some heads.
Okay, so we have the next team. I'm not even sure how to pronounce this team name. I'm going to go with Tres Amigos.
Tres Amigos, my man. Come on.
I didn't know if they were trying. I mean, it's Tremaine Dorch's team. So again, they're playing on the name. Tremaine's been on this show for the last 4 seasons. Season 4 through 6, he made it to stage 1, and season 7, he made it to stage 2. Like, this guy is consistently dominating the course. Always makes it to Vegas. Always does really well.
Yeah, very consistent. And if anybody needs to have a reminder of what this guy is, I just have one word for you: abs.
Yeah, the guy's just unbelievable abs.
Ridiculous.
And his teammate is actually Andrew Lowe's, a.k.a. Andy Lowe's, who we've actually had on the podcast for an interview fairly early on, actually. So Andy is also a phenomenal competitor. He was on seasons 4 through 7. 4 and 5, he made it to stage 1. Season 6, he made it to stage 2. And unfortunately, in season 7, he did have a slip up in the city finals. But very strong, very consistent performances from him, too. So that's two veterans on one team, which is a little unbalanced almost. Like, they really have a lot of potential on this team.
Oh, yeah. One thing I want to make note, though, is while they're consistent, I have noticed that Tremaine is kind of slow in his approach towards the course. He tends to take a lot of time between obstacles. Now, that's not saying that he will during Team Ninja Warrior. I'm just saying we haven't necessarily seen him push his gas tank to the limit. So that's one thing to look out for.
That's a very good point, and something we have to keep reminding ourselves of. So, yeah, being consistent on the show the regular show may or may not help you out on this one. And the third team member is Cassandra Dorsch, Tremaine's wife and co-owner of Beast Body. And she's a phenomenal athlete as well. Like we see a lot of video of her doing some cool stuff, and is very strong. And she did compete on this season. She hasn't added her name to the top of that warped wall, but I don't know that she'll be too far behind.
Yeah, one thing to watch out for, though, is that she is relatively new to Ninja Warrior. And in a lot of her training, you see her doing a lot of CrossFit exercising and a lot of weight training exercises. You're not seeing her necessarily training a whole lot on obstacles. So the one thing I question is that she's working more in terms of cosmetically working out than we necessarily see her, at least in terms of the videos online, her necessarily training on obstacles. So it's going to be interesting seeing how well she does on these particular obstacles that she might not be accustomed to taking on.
Nice catch. And that brings us to our last team, Team Party Time. That's Brian Arnold, Jake Murray, and Jennifer Tavernier, I'm going to say. I'm in Canada, so it's French. I would go Tavernier, but I don't know if that's actually right.
Hey, I like the second way. That was awesome, man.
All right, so we've got Brian Arnold. For those that don't know, I'm still not sure why you're listening to this podcast, but Brian Arnold is one of the biggest names on the show. He's been on the last 4 seasons. That's seasons 4 through 7. In season 5 was kind of an iconic moment for him. He almost beat stage 3. He had gone further than anyone else had on American soil. And then in season 6 kind of had a really strange moment where he decided to institute this strategy of waiting to hit the buzzer for stage 1 so that he could go sooner for stage 2, and basically have a bigger rest for stage 3, which kind of made some sense. But it meant that he had to go very early on through the rope jungle and totally get messed up there, which cost him that year. And this year he ended up going out on Roulette Row, which was really well, was still a good performance. Anybody that made it to Roulette Row did really well. That's, the end of stage 2 practically. But I'm sure he was disappointed because he was looking forward to hitting stage 3 again. But he unfortunately didn't make it back. But Brian is very consistent, very good competitor, and I'm sure he would do well in a course like this.
Yeah, one thing to note, even though it backfired on him in season, I believe it was 6, even though the strategy backfired on him, it at least shows that he's willing to take chances with strategy, something that very, very few athletes actually do. So this could potentially show some really interesting parts or I guess different strategies from his team on the show, because once again you have to remember there are certain sections of the show where it's one particular transition obstacle, and if somebody's ahead of you and you strategically you need to get ahead of them, hey, this might be the guy that'll knock them over, and even if it's not that, I definitely see him or this team implementing various unusual ways to get ahead. And yeah, I'm really excited to see him run the course because this guy's always fun.
Yep, Brian's pretty great. Jake Murray, his partner in crime, this was his rookie year, and he made it to stage 2. Very strong competitor who has a lot of potential. So that's 2 very strong male athletes. And then we have Jennifer, who I was very impressed with when I saw she was doing the testing for Kansas and Vegas this year. Very strong, very cool YouTube video that I'll be sharing in the show notes for everybody to check out. Nothing but good things to say with Jennifer. I really think that this team is even stronger than I initially thought.
Yeah, Jennifer, by far, in my opinion, is the strongest out of all the women we talked about this tonight. And yeah, it's hard to describe her talents, but when you think about a male athlete's, I guess, submission video, it's usually intensive in terms of the upper body things, whereas women usually have more balance-focused things. This woman is doing all of the things men do in the submission videos, all these upper body things, but she's actually doing it even better than a lot of the men with such finesse and ease. And she's hitting a lot of these obstacles very, very easy with a certain technique that shows that she knows these obstacles, she understands these obstacles, and she knows how to do them in very, very short fashion. So I definitely see her doing very, very well in this show, and I think she's really going to surprise a lot of people. And a quick note for Jake Murray, he actually has some really, really entertaining submission videos online. It actually went viral with over 250,000 views, which is quite impressive. Yeah, this guy is very, very much a showman, and he's going to be very, very entertaining to watch. I very much am looking forward to him running.
Cool stuff. All right. So there we are. That's 4 more teams down. That leaves us 8 more to go before the big week that we get to finally see it. So now a brief word from our sponsor, Atomic Climbing Holds. Well, here we are, about to start a brand new year. Have you made your resolution for 2016 yet? Maybe you want to shave off a few pounds, so you plan to go to the gym. Or maybe you want to save money this year, so you've canceled your gym membership. Why not combine saving money with losing weight? How, you ask? Buy some Atomic Climbing Holds and bring the gym home with you. Well, part of it at least. You'll need to get your own sweaty benches and hire people to leave the free weights scattered around your house. But Atomic has you covered as far as climbing walls go. They've got grips and holds and all the instructions you need to set up safely at home or the gym. Just make sure you have the gym owner's permission, because that can get awkward very quickly. Sir, we told you to stop setting up your own Cannonball Alley in our lunchroom. To get in on the action, you need to go to ninjapodcast.com and click on the link for Atomic Climbing Holds. If you use our discount code of podcast, you can save 10%. Okay, we're back, and we're going to discuss now the video of the week. So this week's video of the week is another Season 8 submission video, this time from Tom Meehan from Pennsylvania. And what did you think of this guy's video, Bijan?
This dude's a beast, man. Man. Well, first of all, his hair. I mean, props to that. I wish I had hair because, whoo, he must work on that daily. Now, in terms... I forget which gym he said that he worked at, but he works at a Ninja Warrior gym, and it really shows. He not only has really good skills in terms of basically all facets that you need in Ninja Warrior. He's really good at rock climbing, he's really good at jumping, he's really good at balance, he's, all the points that I usually hit at. I definitely want to shout out one part where he's basically on a rock climbing wall and he jumps this gap must have been like 5 feet to the corner of it, and he hits the corner portion of a rock climbing wall. It's hard to describe, but it's not like he's just jumping sideways. I mean, he has to jump sideways and outwards and catch this an unbelievable rock climbing part. Maybe Atomic Rock Climbing Holds, shout out to them. And and he catches it with one hand and holds his body up. I mean, that's insane. So yeah, this guy very, very is well astute, especially when it comes to rock climbing. But not just that. I mean, as we said with one of the women before, he very much is aware of a lot of the Ninja Warrior obstacles and knows how to tackle them very well. So yeah, this guy is. I'm looking forward to this guy very much so.
Yeah, I'd really like to see him make it on the show, and so we can see what he can do. I grabbed some of even though I'm not quite sure what some of it means, this is what he listed off in his video. So he said he made it up to V10 bouldering, which sounds impressive, and a dyno. That's the part where he was talking about where he jumps off, basically, no hands, no feet, jumps to another hold, and he can dyno of up to 9 foot 3 inches,
Oh my God.
Which I'm almost positive he said was 1/8 of an inch short of a world record.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was saying the world record, and it's hard to describe just how impressive this really is until you watch it. I really suggest everybody go out and watch this video. It is very impressive what this guy does. And with all these terms, it once again shows why we are on a podcast called Armchair Ninja Podcast. I am like, what the heck is a dino? Last I heard, those are T-Rexes, but...
Yeah. So this guy is really impressive. Then he had he has an interesting backstory on top of everything else, right? So he, when he was 19 years old, a few years ago, he chased a burglar with a knife out of his house. It was, and he got cut up a bit in the process, but he used ninja / bouldering to kind of overcome that. You know, he got kind of basically social anxiety from being attacked. And he found that this was a good outlet for getting him out of the house and getting him to build his confidence and everything. So just overall, just a great story, a very interesting story. He seems very personable. So I hope he does get a chance to be on the show. I'd like to see how he could do.
Yeah, I think we'll see him. And very much, I want to suggest to everybody, please do not chase a burglar, especially if it looks like he has a weapon. That's not a good idea. I'm very glad that the guy came out relatively okay, though.
Yeah. I don't think he would have if he had known he had a knife. He didn't find out until he learned the hard way that he had a knife, by the sounds of it. So,
yeah.
So that was our video of the week. Definitely, it was kind of a toss up because of this next video, but I really like this guy's story, so we wanted to include him as well. So our bonus video of the week this week is actually Jeff Britton's season 8 submission video, which just seems ridiculous, does it not? Like, why would he have to make a submission video? Like, didn't you... Go ahead.
Sorry, the instant you said that he has a submission video, I'm like, what? I mean, this guy can literally record him like on the toilet for 5 minutes and he better be accepted or I'll riot. It's like, I don't understand why he has to make a submission video. Maybe it's just for fun, but oh my God, is this not the most impressive in terms of like physical feats? This might be the most impressive video I have seen. Oh my God.
Yeah, so he starts off, and I love it. I love the humility of just, it was my second season, and I did pretty well. He had a perfect season. Yeah, I did pretty well. So he mentions being able to do some cool things because of how he did in the show. He got to throw out the first pitch, and he hosted a community night with all these kids and stuff. He noted his wife, that he's been training a lot with her, and she's getting pretty strong. It's kind of funny that he kind of threw a little shout out to his wife in his video, just to kind of help boost her video up, I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's very nice of him.
Yeah, because he doesn't need it. I mean, really, do you need my video? How about you check the tape? Or just roll it back to see what I did.
Yeah, it should just be like highlights of him from like last season, right? Just be like, this is why. Oh, here's another reason why. Here's another reason why.
Yeah, so he actually almost, not a dig, but I do kind of like that he kind of put out there that, and the fans even tried to get, raise some money for me, which was really cool and nice. Like, yeah, maybe they shouldn't have had to, Ninja Warrior, that would have been nice.
Yeah, I really like that touch because as anybody that listens back knows, I feel very strongly about that. He should have been compensated.
Yeah, for sure. And that he's training to beat it all again. And you know what? I would be surprised. I'm not going to say, of course, I would be surprised if somebody was able to do it twice in a row. But, man, if anybody can do it, he is just insane because he ends the whole thing with this training montage full of just awesome stuff. Just one thing after another of him doing all these crazy things that like only he can do. And I like his choice of music, too, on top of everything else. Mighty Wings by Cheap Trick from Top Gun. Great song choice.
Love it. Yeah. One thing that I want to say about Jeff Britton, he, in my opinion, is the most impressive Ninja Warrior athlete on the entire show, even more so than Isaac Calderon. And I really, really like Isaac. I don't want to take anything away from him. But I think overall, Jeff Britton, I believe, is the most well-rounded, top-notch athlete. I think if it didn't come down to such basically a grip strength, not grip strength, but basically like a rock climbing, just climbing up a rope obstacle. If stage 4 was a relatively more spread out and had different facets of it, I actually think that Jeff Britton might have beaten Isaac. But that's a moot point. What I want to make clear is this guy overall has the talent to beat the shows or beat the stage 4 twice or multiple times actually. And I think when they redo the entire course, I think he has the best chances more than anybody else on this show, in my opinion, to completing all these new challenges, because it's not just his physical gifts, but also how he handles these particular obstacles. He handles them with such precision and ease, it is insane. I really, really think he's going to do well. But yeah, let's go on to the video, because man, are there some highlights here where it's just like, it blows my mind how somebody can actually do this stuff.
Okay, actually, I'll let you run through. I don't know how many notes you took on it. Really, with Jeff, I'm just looking in amazement, and I didn't take too many detailed notes. I really liked how he ends it with kind of running up the wall and grabbing onto a board with one hand. That was one that stood out to me. But if you want to highlight some of the more details of that, you can go right ahead.
Yeah, well, as everybody knows, I'm not the best at detailing what people do, but it starts with he's basically behind something that's very similar to the cliffhanger, right? So imagine standing behind a cliffhanger with it in front of you. And he actually is on a pegboard, and he actually swings from this pegboard and goes forward to the front of cliffhanger, and actually grips the cliffhanger backwards. He actually catches himself with his fingertips and does the cliffhanger backwards. It is insane that he has not only the grip strength to hold on while swinging forwards, but also enough strength to catch himself. And I believe that has a lot to do with his forearms. Obviously, I've never done this, but I believe that you use your forearms for that. So everybody knows he has Popeye forearms, but man, is this guy talented in terms of that. He has, as you noted before, various occurrences where he's holding on, representing a lot of his upper body strength. And yeah, when he catches himself, runs up a wall and catches himself with one arm, it is so impressive, because it's not like he catches himself and he's swinging around or anything. He just catches himself and he's holding almost in a still point, because he caught his body and readjusted with his left arm strength almost immediately. And it shows just how much, fortitude and body control he has. He also has a lot of highlights with his family and everything. But there was another point that I wanted to bring up, and I totally forgot what it was. Oh, that's right. One thing I really like is that he also highlighted his sense of balance. One thing that wasn't represented enough on last season was this guy is very, very talented with balance. He features him going on a slack line on one foot, which is insanely hard to do. He features him on barrel rolls and various other balance obstacles. And I think one thing that's really suited him well for this upcoming season, not just Team Ninja Warrior, not just anything else, but American Ninja Warrior in general, is he has been going to a lot of local Ninja Warrior competitions. He has tried out all of these different new obstacles that all these gyms are implementing, and he has been training on them. He has been beasting them, and for most highlights I've seen, he's been able to do them with quite a lot of finesse. So I really, really feel like when it comes to all the new obstacles that they're going to be implementing next season, he has got the best shot at doing them.
Yeah, we've seen him set some records by beating 2 National Ninja League courses, one after the other. So, and just, representing over and over again how it wasn't just a one-off thing with him. He is just head and shoulders above so many people in this sport that it's really going to be interesting to see him again. And we do have other competitors at that level. I mean, we've seen Joe Moravsky do the same thing where it's just, there's everyone else and then there's Joe, right? And Jeff's at that same level. So there's a few people that I can't wait to see how they do when they really shuffle up the course and throw some new challenges at them. And I think Jeff definitely has a good shot to go far.
Yeah, when it comes to the elite athletes, I mean, he is at that elite tier, and I feel like he might be at the top of the tier. But one thing I also want to say is it almost feels as though when it comes to Ninja Warrior, he's got that sense where he really, really enjoys it, which I really like seeing from a lot of these athletes, that they genuinely enjoy tackling these courses. When it comes to some of these competitors, especially on the show, they get in their minds and they kind of psych themselves out. They take it a little too seriously. It's almost like they're training for this big event, and it's almost like a job or something. Whereas this guy, he's just always has his smile, like a grin from ear to ear on his face, just enjoying these obstacles. He doesn't look at an obstacle like something that he has to do. He just looks at it and is like, that looks fun. I really want to try that. And I don't know. In my opinion, it shows that he has a certain amount of confidence where he isn't going to mentally psych himself out. I don't think that the whole point of him being the first person to complete all the stages is going to get to him. I really think that mentally, physically, and everything else, he is well suited for next season.
All right. So that's it for our bonus video of the week. Moving on, we have our fan of the week. Now, we've had all kinds of activity on Facebook lately, which is amazing. It's been great to see it kind of lighting up. And we recently passed the 5,000 download mark, which was, kind of a great milestone to hit in our first few months. Really happy to see people listening. And I'm looking forward to recording every week with Bijan and sharing with all of you. So in celebration of the end of the year and the beginning of a new one, we just want to say that you're all our fans of the week. Yeah, it's a little sappy, but it's true. Everybody that listens week after week, as we find these topics that we think might interest you and offer up our thoughts and opinions on them, we truly appreciate it. I love doing this every week, and we're going to keep doing it. I'm very happy that people have stuck with us through the off season, as we've been calling it. But we've got Team Ninja Warrior coming up, and we'll be able to kind of share that excitement, that passion that you all share with us for this show and for these athletes, that we can all share that together in the new year. So thank you all very much.
Yeah, I mean, it's truly been a pleasure to be able to record this podcast with you, Rich, and it's really been heartwarming to hear all the feedback from everybody. It really means a lot to me. I particularly have been watching Sasuke, American Ninja Warrior from the very beginning. I mean, I was literally about the age of 12, I believe, when I started watching all of these. I mean, I've almost grown up on this type of stuff, and it's very fun and exciting to be able to talk about this every week. And I'm really excited or happy that other people share this passion that we all have for Ninja Warrior in general. And yeah, all of the feedback that I've been getting on Facebook, Twitter, everything else, it really means a lot to me. I've heard from a lot of the Ninja Warrior athletes and competitors. It's very exciting to hear that not only just fans at home, but there's a lot of competitors from the show that are listening and are interested to hear different people's viewpoints on the show. I can't wait to talk about Team Ninja Warrior, and I can't wait to talk more about American Ninja Warrior with everybody. Thank you so much, everybody, for such an amazing year and a good start to this podcast.
All right, great. So if you aren't aware, you can reach out to us on Facebook. You can reach us on Twitter. That's @NinjaPodcast, or feel free to shoot us an email. That's rich@ninjapodcast.com. Thank you all once again for listening. Have a very happy and safe new year, and we'll see you in 2016.
Bye, guys.
A special thanks to Kathleen Martin for the song Player v Player Remastered from bandcamp.com.
Thank you all for listening and have a lovely day.